Alright my G's, so today just a quick and little fun video on snare layering using some Foley layers. I was recently walking in a forest near where I live, kind of a park slash forest, and just randomly decided to record myself breaking up a stick, and even just with my iPhone, sound quality not even that great. I think there was like a plane in the background, but basically I thought, use that little recording and actually still make some snare layers out of it either way. So let's get into it. Inspiration for music really is all around my G's. We're going to make some nice We've got loads of samples to use now to create some excellent snare layers. Let's go. Here's a here's the kind of loop that I've just made using these kind of snare layers. Inspiration for music really is all around my G. My G. My G. There you go. So the layers that you heard, they sound like this, and they sit on the snare. And without the layers, that's the snare on its own. And if you listen in the beat without the layers, but with the layers, now me doing that is also exaggerating the effect. But if I don't do that, okay, now I'm doing it with my eyebrows. It sounds better when it's layered, all right? Trust me, I'm a professional. The layers. So what I just did was, I took this, I recorded it all just on a video, and I just put the video into Logic and took out the audio, and I've got different parts of where I've broken up, different, I've broken up the stick. Okay, and I just took some of these sort of transients. I took a few different versions. So the first version here kind of sounds like this. Stick break. Okay, let's turn off my reverbs and stuff like that. Stick break. Okay, with all of the layers, I put them through Space Blender because it just makes it more stereo, brings it to life, and I can also use the Space Blender to color the sound a bit as well, So again, like, you just move around the point, play with the time, choose the color and texture that you want, mix in how much of the dry versus how much of the Space Blended signal you want. Yeah, and then when you're done with that, I like it nice and short, me. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, it's basically, it just feels a bit better when it's like nice and short and tight to the snare still, So that's the first one. And that one runs throughout the whole duration of the layering, like on every snare, it's the same. Then what we wanted to do was do a couple more layers on the snare, but these next ones are call and response. So we're going to have one that's like, let me play just the layer. This little clicky, snappy stick slap here. And then that one. They're so subtle. They're so like, they are different, but it's quite subtle. But when I space blend them, and then this one too, what the Space Blender does is it sort of exaggerates, using that sort of convolution reverb and extending the sound. It sort of exaggerates the pitch of it sometimes, So with these two guys with a sort of a different Space Blender on each one, bum, 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 bum. It actually has like an up and down kind of pitch movement. They almost sound like sort of one semitone up and one semitone down. So I thought that would be great to use in a call and response fashion, with the first layer playing the whole time, But now you've got this tick-tock motion, but sort of because of the sort of pitch changes, you know? So isn't that wonderful? It kind of feels like the snare's a bit more alive, and each hit's slightly different, and it kind of pitches up and down, you know? So that's how I put the layers in. Really simple, like, as I mentioned. I got this little one over here at the end. It's just, I use it as a sort of fill. So this sort of like 2 sort of stick hits in a row. I think this is actually when I was banging the stick on the sort of concrete block that my phone was on. So that's just for like a little bit of a fill. So just using part of the sample in a sort of gap in the composition. Okay, and then basically, yeah, so I've got my layers. I just grouped them all up into a bus, as you saw here. Layer bus, Princess Layers' own bus company. It's available now on at any airport, really, that you land in, except for Changi, Singapore, because I think it's Jabba the Hutt that owns the buses there. Anyway, so did I deviate from the norm there? I'm sorry. 244 hertz is the frequency upon which I decided to settle and build my abode. Now this is where I took out some low end of the layers just to give a bit of space for the snare. I didn't go too high because there's a lot of character in the layers in the mid-range that needs to be in there still. Then I put on a supermassive on the whole thing. Yeah, I just mixed it into like 12%, and it just adds a tiny bit of room sound on all of the layers together. Wonderful, that is, really. And then a Chroma Reverb to finish. This adds like a whole sound, really low in the mix, but just bring that down to 3%. Bit of a long background, whole reverb, super at the back of the room. Barely can hear it, but it's there. It makes you feel like you're in a bigger space. Okay, so that's what we like. That's on the layers, and then they just sort of fit with the snare without too much other work, you know. I could, if I wanted to be really, I could, as a final tweak, we could get them really nice and just make sure the transit's soft enough. You bring the transient on all of them down a little bit with the attack here, and it'll just give a tiny bit more clarity for our main snare to cut through the layers, because the main snare still has to cut through the layers and be the dominant one. You know, the layers are the background material, remember. So that's basically it then. Inspiration for music really is all around, my G. My G. And the sound that I used in this loop is from my Rituals Serum pack, and it's called Diver's Warning, and it feels like a sort of scuba diver in trouble. Anyway, without all the funny dancing and silly jokes, conceptually, I hope you learned a bit about how you can just go into the woods and snap a stick and put it into your snare and breathe a natural life into your track. Isn't that wonderful, my dudes? Thank you very much for watching. Clappity dappity dap, doopity dappity doo. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you like it, because it helps me a lot, and you'll see all of my other videos that are going to be coming up as well, which are wonderful videos, I must admit. Although I haven't recorded them yet, I'm sure they will be. I only drop classics, to be honest. I've done 139,000. No, I've done coming up to 1,400 videos, but all of them are classics. Don't get it twisted. All right. He's pretty confident with his. No, I'm just kidding. They're all rubbish. No, they're good. They're good. Are they good? Always got a bit. Sorry, a bit loopy today, aren't I? Clap back to reality. Right. I hope that was fun for you guys. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, comment down below. Check out the links as well. I've got links to my preset packs, Serum, Vital, Phase Plant, and Current. Email me if you want any mixing and mastering work done. Join my Patreon as well, and come in my Discord. Got a great Discord community full of wonderful humans that will help you out with your music when I'm not around as well. Plus, we've got group events that are run through the Discord. And also, yeah, book yourself in a one-on-one lesson if you fancy it. Let's go. All right, that's it from me today. More from me very soon. Much love.